A reason the mod commando can be pretty good is that if you actually put a hole in the floor like this, there's floorboards, right? Look at that. The pest is very small. Look at how small you can put it. If you put it in the floor like this, it's very, very hard to shoot it out. I spent 100 hours of playing Mozzie, and here's what I learned. He may only be 5'4", but he's a beast if used properly. So how exactly do we get that beast to come out of him? There's only one thing to understand, is that information is map control. If you think about it, Mozzie is kind of like that really short security guard at concerts saying like, hey, no, you can't go in. So real quick, let's go over his loadout and be like, people always ask me this question. I'm always giving the same answer. Commando or the Roni? Listen, the Roni has like 15 bullets, so like one shot in a gunfight I already have to reload. It has the 1.5, but I'm really not that big a fan of it. If you're really crazy in the headshot, sure, go for it if you're crazy with it. But I think more consistently, especially online, Commando is great because it has a lot of damage. You can easily body shot people really good. I mean, otherwise you'd be good for headshots. But the Commando does a really cool thing that I'm going to show you guys in a little bit, but I recommend you use it because it has more ammo, more damage. It's overall more of a normal weapon. Obviously you can't run anything besides the pistol. We'll go over his loadout, but you always want to run nitrous about 90% of the time, unless you really need to know, like if you're solo queuing and you need to know if someone's coming behind you, just use the barbed wire. Don't care what anybody says. I used to use barbed wire on Mozzie. Just do it, bro. Doesn't matter what people say. So I picked Coastline because Coastline is probably the map I use Mozzie the most out of every single map in the entire game, and here's why. First of all, let's get to know Mozzie's pest a little bit. Now, obviously, you should never, but there are some people, never want to put a pest like this in the middle of the doorway. Step one, we already all know that. The second way you can put a Mozzie pest would be obviously on the side of a doorway, kind of like this. Now, you want to be careful a little bit. If you do know they have a twitch, then you can get a little bit higher or something like that. But otherwise, just use it for info denial. Now, a reason the mod commando can be pretty good is that if you actually put a hole in the floor like this, there's floorboards, right? Now, look at that. The pest is very small. Look at how small you can put it. You can even put it on the roof if you wanted to. But if you put it in the floor like this, it's very, very hard to shoot it out. If you're trying to, like, if I'm attacking from here, it's very hard to shoot it out, right? And most of the time, they're not even going to know where it is. So it's really hard unless you come to do this. But you'll see me do this a lot. It's very hard to get rid of it unless you have a grenade or sacrificing the drone. All right, so what if we're not putting on doorways? That's okay, because you can even put them in the open like this. For example, let's say, you know, someone's trying to drone through Aqua, right? You can even put one in the dead open like this in the middle. Obviously, there's different like map spaces, but if you just put them in the middle of the door like this, or like in a hallway, for example, even like right here, this would be a pretty good one right here too. Because people are always, you know, they have their common drone route. They're like jumping their drone everywhere, and by the time they see the blue light, the drone already hops through it. So that's not that bad of an idea in the open, but just make sure it's in kind of an off spot. But don't do it like right in the open where they can just shoot it from their entry point. Also, if you did want to put it on a hatch, let's say if you wanted to put it on a hatch, obviously if you were below here, like on cafe or something like that, you would put up on the sides. That's also something you can do. So now that we know how to use the pest properly, where should we put them now? You should put pests on common doorways people like to drone. Obviously, you know that too, but to an extent. A common entry point is hookah door, right? So if you put this one in here, then it's very, very hard to get unless it's sacrifice a drone. Versus, I don't recommend that you put passive Mozzie drones. So for example, like if the bomb site is kitchen, right? You don't want to put them like this, right? You don't want to do that because there's no point of that being there. It leads to no... They already have map control without getting information. So what I learned is that you kind of want to use your Mozzie's pest almost like aggressive mute jammers. A go in is like right here on certain drone holes or any doorways. Mozzie is very easy to use once you just kind of understand the common drone paths. Imagine you are playing Siege, right? Maybe you encounter a Mozzie's pest that you could not get past. Steal that, bro. Use it. So now that you know that you should use Mozzie's pest on aggressive doorways to deny information, right? Which ties into the point I made earlier. Information means map control. So let's just give you a coastline example right here. So if that means information map control, let's say the bomb site is in kitchen, right? As Mozzie, I could literally hold blue bar and sunrise by myself. But the thing is, obviously, it's a little bit harder, right? So if you wanted to, you know, it's easier just if you grab a teammate, be like, hey, hold blue bar. But what you can do is have control of blue bar and sunrise because you have that information denied. Most good players will not go into a room they haven't droned yet. If they do, then they're putting into themselves like a 50% more chance of risk of, you know, getting face checking and leading into an enemy in there. So if I put these Mozzie specs right here, right? And let's say if you want to do this, yes, we'll see me do this a lot on coastline. If I go up to here, reinforce this off. The reason I'm reinforcing this off is that way I can hold here safely without getting wall banged in case they do drone me out. So let's say I do this, right? I have pressure on the hookah door, so that now they can't drone inside hookah unless they sacrifice the drone, right? So I have contention on hookah, I have contention on sunrise, and I have contention on blue bar. You see how much map control I'm able to safely hold? It's almost like penciling it in. Obviously, I'm not watching the angle in every way, but it's my presence. As an attacker, you don't know where I am, obviously, but you know where my presence is. You see, oh, Mozzie pressing blue bar. I think someone might be in there because I can't drone it in. So it gives them that little bit of fear that really makes the difference of the pacing of the round. So collecting as many drones as you can. Now you have to think about it. Mozzie, yes, his gadget's pretty good. Yeah, you could drive your own drone, but the reality is you're most likely not really going to catch a lot of drones. If anything, people are just going to shoot it right as they get into it. But that's okay because that's what the utility is good for. So instead, you should see Mozzie, like I said, as holding down map control rather than trying to collect as many drones as possible. Now, a fun little trick that you can combine is that if you get one of your pests, right? This is what I like to do this all the time. If you get one of your pests, like I said, if you deny certain pieces of map control, then it forces the enemy to face check, right? So let's say if I put the Mozzie a little bit aggressive right here, right? I put it right here. They see hookah is clear, right? I'm baiting them to come to hookah. Oh, it's clear, but Mozzie's in cool vibes. So let's say they throw a nade at me, right? They throw a nade at me, and they're about to walk in to come kill me, but I'm already 10 steps ahead of them. I put a C4 right on the hookah door, and then I just pixel peek it right here. I actually like this from Macy J, but I use it myself. So they think that hookah's clear, right? Oh, let's go kill him on cool vibes. The second I see a pixel move right there, boom, I'm disengaging, staying alive, and blowing it up. That is a free kill every single time. You guys have to try it. Now, where exactly should you play Mozzie? Let's say, you know, we're not always gonna be on kitchen, right? I think that you should play Mozzie on places, like I said, where map control is important, like vertical play, stuff like that. But I don't recommend running Mozzie on maps where it's pretty cornered in, like a laundry bomb site, maybe on Oregon, like any kind of basement site. But obviously, if you're roaming, you should kind of know what I'm talking about. Like, if you really need more utility, like Malusi or Jaeger in sight, pick those ops instead. But you know, at the end of the day, you can play whoever you want, but you have the brain to decide, okay, do I really need this operator or not? Also, I did learn that Mozzie is also in the position. Let's say it's a 3v3, right? There's one person lobby side and two people making vertical above. That is my opportunity, my job. If the smoke and the dock are on site, that's my job to flank. You have to know that you are always going to be like a roamer or like something like that, right? You are fit to flank if you need to, or make a play, you know, get aggressive somewhere, but you're kind of like the least important on the team. That makes any sense because you're the one that is trying to waste all the time. But at the same time, if you do have a 3v3 and it's like 30 seconds left of the round, stay in sight with your team because you're also a good angler. You have a C4, 2 armor, 2 speed, and a good long range weapon like Commando or the Roni. But that is exactly what I learned in the 100 hours of playing Mozzie. I've played this guy for almost like 3 years now, and I want to stress this one more time before we go. Mozzie is good when information means the map control. So keep that in mind when next time you roam. Try to hold on to pieces of map control as long as you can. Don't focus on collecting too many drones. Just focus on playing with the enemy, dude. Just literally toy with their freaking droning and util, confusing them, and just being a nuisance on the roam. In your mind, try to become that Mozzie that nobody wants to go up against in ranked. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this helped you with your Mozzie gameplay. Let me know in the comments below what map you love playing Common the most. I'll see you guys in the next video, and let me know who you want to see for the next 100 hours.